Hello to all of my writers out there. My name is Internet Smith. Welcome to the Real Internet Come Forth YouTube channel. I am your author and I am a published author of 15 books. I will be your instructor today. I have been teaching seminars for almost 6 years now. So the video that I'm going to do today is how to write a book or a book series. And I will have upcoming videos, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. So I like to live by what they call the 4 P's. Preparation. Preparation, prepare yourself, prevents poor performance. If you prepare yourself correctly, it will prevent you from having a poor performance. If you have to be 100% committed to the writing process, if you don't take your writing process seriously, no one is going to take your material serious enough to publish it, to purchase it, or to read it. So you have to be committed. So therefore, others that you want to publish your book, sell your book, or buy your book will be serious as well. So let's dive right on in. So this is the package that I usually teach from. I've been doing this for a while. So the number one is to create you a writing space. Create you a specific writing space that you know when you get in that space, that is for writing. You like to write. I mostly write in my office, and I mostly write at night. I like to have either my candles burning or my oil lamp burning because I like the smell of aroma to smell good. It helps calms the atmosphere. And I like to write at night because I know I won't have a lot of distractions. So those are my set time and my set place. So whatever you're comfortable with writing, you need a specific space to write. You know, and so if you live in the house with others, so they'll know when you're in that space that it's writing time and not to disturb you. Then you need to decide, are you going to write fiction, which is imaginary, or nonfiction, real life? Maybe you're going to be an author that write both. I'm not sure. But you need to decide for that specific book that you're working on, writing on, is it going to be fiction or nonfiction? That's very important. Then what's the title of your book? What's the title of your book? You want a book title that's very catchy, that's going to catch people's attention, whether they see it or whether they hear it. My first book series is titled The Real Internet Come Forth, you know, because it's based on my life. And the second book series is titled Behind the Scenes, you know. So those titles I chose because it matches the story that I'm telling inside your book. So keep in mind, you want your book title to match the story that you're actually telling on the inside. Then you need to decide what size book you want to write. I love to read. I have read many books. Some books I've purchased that have been like this thick, I've never read the whole book. And so I know how I am when I purchase books and about reading. So you want to keep in mind, put yourself in the reader's position. If you buy a book write a book this big, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to read the whole book. And so I kept that in mind as I was writing my books. I wanted to keep them, you know, short and sweet. You know, I think the most pages one of my books is like 387, but I was telling a whole story. So just keep in mind the size of your book. The size of your book would also determine the price. I wanted my books to be affordable. I wanted everybody to be able to purchase them. I didn't want people to go to the store and say, do I buy her book or do I buy my baby a bag of Pampers? Do I buy her a book or do I miss a meal? I didn't want it to be like that. And I explained that to my publishing company as well. I wanted to keep my price point low because I want people to be blessed by my books and not just make a lot of money. You understand? So keep in mind the size of your book. Prepare to write a rough draft countless times. Revise, revise, and revise. When you first start writing, it's called a rough draft. I say get it out your system. When I first started writing, I wrote the first 6 volumes of my book series out in a journal spiral notebook. I hand wrote it because I like to write. I hand wrote it out first, and then I typed it out. And so the first draft is just get it out your system. Don't try to make corrections or anything like that. It's a rough draft. Get it out. Just get it out. Just write. And then you can always go back to revise, revise, and revise. Outline your book. What do you want the reader to know? You had to know what you want the reader to know. This will help create an outline for your book. What is that you want them to know, whether you're writing about you or whether you're writing about a specific subject? What do you want them to know? Okay? Choose 10 to 15 subjects. This is how I created my outline for my book. I chose 15 different things that I wanted the people to know. Since I was writing about my life story, my testimony, I started out with The Darkness Begins. I wanted them to know where the darkness began in my life. And that helped me to come up with the titles. I wanted them to know when I became a mother. I wanted them to know if I went to school. You know, whatever you want the people to know, whatever story you're writing about, you need to have an outline to 10 to 15 subjects. If you can't come up with 10 to 15, come up with 10, come up with 12, you know. And remember, it depends on the size of your book too. So keep that in mind. This creates an outline for your chapters to give your book direction and focus. You can use years as an outline, like 2005 to 2010. I'm going to talk about what happened with those years. You can use seasons, the summer of 1988, the summer of 2001, the fall of 2020. You know, this is the winter of 2012. You know, so you can use seasons. You can use events. This is our prom time. This is our we was on spring break when this happened. This is graduation time. All of those things help you to give your book direction, and it help you to stay focused, because you know when you're telling a story about your graduation, you're going to talk about everything you want the reader to know about your graduation. Okay? If you're talking about the summer of 2002, okay, this is what I want the readers to know about my summer of 2002. It was the best summer of my life, you know? So this helps keep your book on focus, and it helps give it direction in the way you want it to go. Okay? Repeat this process for all of your chapters. Every chapter that you're going to write, which is, remember, your outline. One of the 12 things, the 10 to 15 things, subjects that you've come up with, you want to do this each time to stay on course, to stay focused, to stay going in the right direction. Okay? And to remember the size of your book. Always remember the size of your book, because, you know, we can get carried away writing if you love to write. Okay? After your rough drafts are complete, reread each chapter 3 to 4 times. Insert, change, or make corrections at this time. Don't edit. After you've done all your rough draft and you've got it out your system, then you can go back and read through it to make sure that you didn't leave anything out that you wanted to say about that subject, that topic, or you want to add something in that you may have forgotten about. This is what this time is for. Don't edit. You're not editing at this point, okay? It's still a rough draft. You're checking to make sure that this book stayed on focus, that you were talking about your graduation time, and that was all that you talked about. You want to make sure that that is what you talked about, and you didn't jump from being talking about your graduation to you in college. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what this time is for. You're revising your rough draft. You're going over to make sure that you stay focused and that you're going in the right direction. Proceed with this format for each chapter. You're going to do this each chapter that you write. Each chapter that you write. Maybe by the time you get to chapter 3 or 4, you'll have it down pat, and you'll know the mistakes to look for. You'll know the things to look for as you're going through each chapter. After your rough draft is complete, only edit if you plan to edit yourself and not hire a professional to edit for you. I don't know if you're going to hire a publishing company to publish your books, or are you going to self-publish your books, or are you going to let someone, are you going to be your own editor? I don't know. But if you're not going to be your own editor and you're going to hire somebody to do it, then just leave it be. But if you're planning on self-publishing your books and being your own editor, then that's when you go in and edit. Edited is going in, making corrections, making sure your spelling is correct, making sure your sentence structure is right, making sure you stayed on course. Okay? I didn't do my own editing. I had to hire a publishing company to handle all that. All I just did was write, and they handled everything else. Okay? Create a dedication section, having a dedication to your friends, your family, and your readers. I like to thank my family and friends for being a great support to me, for encouraging me all of my life. I like to give dedications to my pastors and leaders, different people that I've met along the way in this life, because I didn't get to this place by myself, and neither did you. You had to have other people to succeed in this world. You had to have other people to live in this world. And so I like to publicly give them a dedication and thank them. I like to thank my readers in advance for purchasing my materials, for taking the time to invest in my materials, taking a chance on reading my books. I like to thank them in advance, so thank you very much. So you need to thank your readers as well. Okay. Create a layout of book or books to follow if you are writing a book series. When I titled it Upcoming Books, because I knew that I would be writing a book series and more books. So the Real Internet Comfort is not only a book series, it's a company, okay? So I knew that I had other books coming. So in this section, I put upcoming books, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I had the behind the scene books that was coming. I had the book, My Jesus Experience, that was coming. And so you want your readers to know that, yes, this lady or this man have more books coming, that they're not just writing a one-hit wonder. You know, that you're going to be a continual author. If that is the case with you, you need to have that in your book to let your readers know this is what you have forward to look to. You know, I'm going to be writing more stories. I'm going to be writing more books. And this is the titles of them. So if you plan on writing more books, you need this section in your book. Okay. Create front and back cover. Draw rough draft. Make sure it fits the title of your book. I designed all of my book covers. I knew the story that I was telling. I know what I wanted to convey to my audience. I know what I wanted it to look like when they seen my book, because that's the first thing you see is the book cover, right? I'm very specific about colors. So each book that I wrote, I chose the colors. I chose the designs. I drew it out because I wanted to make sure it looked the way I wanted it to look. And so, you know, colors have meaning, words have meaning, and all of these things. So you are responsible for your own book cover. You choose what you want the people to see. It's up to you. If you're happy with the book design, the book color, then you let it hit the market, because when it hit the market, everybody's going to see it. So you want to make sure that it's done correctly. You want to make sure that you take your time to choose something that you're satisfied with. It matches your story that you're telling. You know, you don't want to be writing a book about dinosaurs and then you have a tree on the front cover. It don't make sense, because when people see it, they're going to think it's about trees. You see what I'm saying? So take your time to design your book cover and the colors, okay? After you have your book color and cover design complete, check into publishing companies. Okay, so we're going to end this with, this video is about how to write a book or a book series. I'm going to do another video on choosing a publishing company versus self-publishing. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the steps of publishing companies and how to get your book published. And then I'm going to do another video on how to have a successful book signing. Okay, so I thank you very much for investing into your future, your writing journey, and I pray that your journey will be successful. Let me know that you watched this video, and when your books come out, I would love to read them. So thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye.